night is cold and my shelter's gone. Oh,
Test 1, 2. Test. Test 1, 2, 3.
Don't pretend you're not scared. I will hold you, never let you go.
Shabbat Shalom. As many of you know,
Dear God of our ancestors,
it's like magic.
help us renew our faith. Grant us a perfect
As many of you know,
healing.
who've been here, we always begin every service and
Bring peace to all our days.
safety precautions. So first, if you have
Elna,
silence,
Rifanala, Rifanala, nu.
to the exit doors. Notice red
Elna, Rifanala,
and also
Rifanala, nu.
last doors, that's the exit doors, and then on either side of the
Restore our strength of body. Help clarify our mind. Refresh our tired spirits. Rejuvenate our light. Elna, Rifanala, Rifanala, nu. Elna, Rifanala, Rifanala, nu. Thank you for all these blessings throughout our days and nights. We celebrate the journey, precious gift of life. And now
Shabbat Shalom. It's wonderful to be with you and to celebrate Shabbat with you. And we got lots going on tonight, so that's terrific. We get to celebrate with Gabe and his family as he becomes bar mitzvah this Shabbat. So mazel tov to you and to your family, and you'll be helping lead us in a few minutes. And it is also our Tzedek Shabbat, our Shabbat that is sponsored by our Tzedek team, our social justice, social action team in the congregation. And so we actually thought that maybe a good way to begin would be with a blessing for pursuing justice. It's similar to our candle blessings in that it starts, and it ends with the words, Lirdov Tzedek, to pursue justice.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kirshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lirdov tzedek asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lirdov tzedek. Praise be the one who has commanded us to look around and challenge what we see, to chase after righteousness and justice, to make the world a better place to be. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kidshanu ומצוותיו וציוונו לרדוף צדק וציוונו לרדוף צדק.
All right. I'd like to invite Gabe and his family up to help us to kindle our Shabbat lights. We're on pages 2 and 3 in our Siddur, and I invite everybody who can comfortably do so to please rise.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us, as their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we, in our own day, be among those who kindle light.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehalineh shel Shabbat.
You may be seated. We turn to pages 20 and 21. As is our custom, we take a moment to reflect on the week that has passed, Hazarat HaShavua, review of the week, to spend just a few seconds on each day, on its blessings and its challenges, and then we'll come back together on pages 20 and 21 and sing Lecha Dodi. We'll sing together verses 1, 2, 5, and 9. When we get to verse 9, I will invite those who can comfortably do so to rise and face the doors from which we enter to welcome the Shabbat presence, the extra soulfulness that travels with us during Shabbat into the congregation and into our hearts. For those of you at home, you can turn towards the doorways of your home to welcome Shabbat into your homes. Lecha Dodi 20 and 21.
Get a clap. I didn't tell you whether to do about 1 and 3 or 2 and 4.
rise if you can comfortably do so. I would like to invite Barry and Terry Helfand to join me up here on the bima. Okay, stop.
Look at me. There we go. Perfect. So some of you were at the congregational meeting.
Or watching it last night. Oops. And so you know, because Nancy, in talking about the foundation, talked about Barry's long service, and that Barry and Terry were moving to Cleveland. And they've been an important part of this community for over 4 decades. And I wanted to offer a blessing to the two of you as you make this new journey, this new place, and to know that even as you leave from here, you're always a part of this place and this community. God told Abraham, Lech Lecha, go forth. And Abraham left his land and his home and went to a new place. To leave what we know is the story of our people. Lech Lecha is also part of your story, and another Lech Lecha moment for you in your life now as well. As you go from your home and this community, from those who care for you in this place, to be with your daughter and her family in the greater Cleveland area. I know it's not exactly Cleveland, but yeah, Cleveland suburb. We have journeyed together through laughter and through tears. And with some sadness, we send you on your way, grateful for the time you have spent here and the many gifts that you have shared with our community. As you follow in the footsteps of Abraham and Sarah, we pray that God will guide you on the way, and may your journey bring new blessings to your life. Lech Lecha. And so now I am going to just share the traditional blessing that is said when you embark on a journey. Yehu ratzon milfanecha Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu. May it be your will, Adonai, our God and God of our ancestors, that you guide Terry and Barry safely on their journey, that you lead them on a path in peace, that you allow them to reach their desired destination with life and with joy and with peace. Protect them from all obstacles along their way. Bestow blessings on the work of their hands and their hearts, and grant grace and loving kindness and compassion to them and in the eyes of all whom they encounter on their journey. Blessed are you, Adonai, who watches over us and our journeys. And may you be blessed in your going and in your coming. We hope you'll come visit us, and as you go on your way. And we will really miss you, and know that TBI TV is always available to you, and please check us out because it'll help us to keep a connection. And we're so grateful for your time in this community and all that you've brought of the labor of your hands and of your heart. And now, Gabe Stoll, come on up. We're going to continue with Chatzi Kaddish, which you will find on page 26.
Yitgadal, Yitgadal. Yitgadal, Yitgadal, Shemei Rabbah.
Amen.
Be'amati v'rach yirtei, amich machutei, b'chai echon u'yom echon, u'chayei l'chol Beit Yisrael. Bagala, Bagala, Ubizman Kari, Vemeru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba Mivara, Le'olam Ulamei Yomaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishtabach, V'yapahar, V'yitramah, V'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitale, V'yitala, Shemei B'Kudsham Harichu, Le'ela Mikol Birchata, V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nechemata, Ta'amiram B'yama, Ve'meru,
Amen. If you can comfortably do so, please rise.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorach. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach le'olam va'ed. Praise Adonai to whom praise is due forever. Praise be Adonai to whom praise is due now and forever.
Lie, la 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 lie. Lie, la 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 lie. Lie, la la lie, 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 la 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 lie, 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 la 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 lie. Yai, la la lie, 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 la 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 lie, 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 la 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 lie, lie, lie. Baruch hu et Adonai hamevorach. Baruch Adonai hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed. Hamevorach, hamevorach le'olam va'ed.
Last three lines in the Hebrew on page 30.
El Chai v'chayam, tamidim lo kaleinu le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai, Amariv, Aravim.
Amen. Page 34 and 35, Shema Yisrael.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kivod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Blessed is God's glorious majesty forever and ever.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. 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 Baruch Shem Kevod Shem kevod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Baruch Shem kevod malchuto le'olam va'ed. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
Continue on page 36.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha v'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher noti mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'veitecha u'v'leftecha b'derech u'shokbecha u'kumecha u'kshartam le'od al yadecha v'hayu l'totafot ben einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'visharecha Leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai v'yetem kedoshim le'lechem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hosei tzidchem me'eretz Mitzrayim li'ot lachem le'elachim ani Adonai Elohechem.
We continue with Micha Mocha, our Song of Freedom, page 40.
Last paragraph on 40. V'ne'emar kivad Adonai et Yaakov ugalo miyad chazak mimenu baruch atah Adonai Gal Yisrael.
Page 43. Give us a place to rest, Adonai our God. Bring us into shelter in the soft, long evening shadows of your truth. For with you are true protection and safety, and in your presence our acceptance and gentle love. Watch over us as we go forth. Prepare for us as we return. Spread over us your shelter of peace over all we love, over our Jerusalem and yours.
Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, sukat shalom aleinu, ve'al kol amo Yisrael, ve'al Yerushalayim.
Vishamru, we give thanks for Shabbat, for the opportunity it gives us each week to reset, to begin again, to reflect and connect. Page 44.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lazo et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat lazo et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ve'ni uvein b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Ki sheishet yamim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash. Ve'shamru b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat l'dorotam berit olam.
I'd like to invite Deborah Russell up to share a reading.
Shabbat Shalom. So tonight's going to be a night where we're going to talk some about the environment, and I'm going to read a reading that the rabbi gave me, and then I'm going to add something to it. Maybe I won't. There was a quote here by Martin Buber that I really liked. Okay, here it is. Alrighty. In Genesis, we are told God took the first human being, Adam, and placed him in the Garden of Eden to work it and to guard it. We human beings have the unique responsibility to care for the earth and its inhabitants. We are called upon to make moral choices on behalf of the earth, for we are the only creatures that God created with the capacity to reason and with the gift of free will. God created the earth for human beings to enjoy, protect, and defend. But over the course of time, we forgot what it meant to hold this sacred inheritance. And the piece I'm going to add is just what's in the prayer book. When people come to you for help, do not turn them off with pious words saying, "Have faith and take your troubles to God." Act instead as if there were no God, as there were only one person in all the world who could help, only yourself. Thank you.
I'm going to invite Gabe back up. We're going to continue with our Amidah. Page 46, I invite everybody who comfortably do so to please rise.
Okay, who's this?
Adonai sefatai tiftach ufi tehillah. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu v'Imoteinu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Hasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mei Gila Livnei Bnechem, Lema'an Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Moshiach U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Ma'il Avraham, Be'ezrat Sarah.
Page 50.
Atah Gibor Le'lam Adonai, B'chayei Yakol atah, Rav Lehoshia, Morid HaHatah, Mechalkel Chaim B'Chesed, Mechayei Hakol B'Rachamim Rabim, Somech Noflim V'Rufei Holim, Umatir Asurim, Umekayem Emunato, Lishenei Afar, Michamocha Ba'al Gevuro, Umito Melah, Melech Emid, Umechayeh, Umatzmiya L'Shua, V'ne'eman atah l'hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol.
Page 52. You are holy, your name is holy, and those who are holy praise you every day. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el HaKadosh. Take a few moments for silent prayer, the text of your own heart, or the words of the prayer book through page 62, 63. You may be seated when you're through.
Shabbat Shalom to everybody. My peace
also has nothing to do with the environment. About 3 weeks ago at our TBI Yom HaShoah service, we played Eli Eli with poetry by Hannah Shemesh and music by David Zahavi. This is the Eli Eli that most people know. It's very famous. It was written in the 1940s during the war. But I'm going to be playing the other Eli Eli tonight, that maybe is not so well known to some of you. And there's some kind of controversy regarding the origins. We have one composer, Jacob Sandler, in the late 19th century, claiming that he composed this piece in the late 19th century, and others, such as cantor Yasala Rosenblatt, very famous Ukrainian cantor from the 19th and early 20th century, saying that it was of folk origin and comes considerably earlier than what Jacob Sandler had said, and that it was just a folk song. So not too sure about the actual origin of the piece. The piece the arrangement that I'm going to be playing tonight is sort of a conglomeration of the piano accompaniment and the vocal combined, which had mixed success. I hope you enjoy it. This is Eli Eli, my arrangement, the other Eli Eli.
We turn to page 253. As we turn our thoughts to all of those in our lives and in our community who are in need of healing, of mind, of body, or of spirit.
Sheberach Avotenu Abraham Yitzchak veYaakov Sarah Rivka Rachel veLeah Hu Yevarech et HaCholim
Elna Rifanala.
Elna Rifana Elna Rifana Elna Rifana Elna Rifana
We ask for blessings upon Rebecca Gilman, Hannah Fields Austin, Sue Tobak, Rosalind Lefkowitz, Ellen Weinfeld, Pam Poliakoff, Kathy Blumenfeld, Caitlin Antrim, Jennifer Rudin, Brad Holland, Serena Postal, Robert Strober, Nomi Kravitz, Lori Snyder, Charity Rezadeh, Joel Beasy, Gloria Foster, Robert Gerard, Adele Harris, Brenda Found Gerard, Jan Marcus, Marla Fregoso, Al Shapiro, Jeff Nelson, Robert Waldman, Barry Gustafero, Judith Gratz Delane, Audrey Kubel, Deborah Delane, James Stead, Rita Elias, Stephen Gilbert, Sharon Zaki, Nell Barron, Oliver Holland, Bill Hughes, Ed Means, Stephanie Holland, Stan Stein, Virginia Guzman, Suzette Guzman, Marilyn Rudin, Claudia Phillips, Kenneth Phillips, Sandy Gunn, Ron Gilman, Julie Ben Simon, Eric Baldwin, Rabbi Jules King, Faye Bernstein, Abby Binstock Moore, Carol Blitz, Sandra Dizengoff, Sherry Mosley, and I'd like to invite Nina Karnofsky to come forward. I invite Nina so she can invite the speaker. So.
It's my great pleasure to introduce my revered colleague and friend, Professor Char Miller, known to many of you here in this congregation. Char is the W.M. Keck Professor of Environmental Analysis and History at Pomona College, where he's worked since 2007. Char originally came to Claremont as an undergraduate student at Pitzer College, and that is where he met his wife, Judy, a fellow undergraduate student. Char and Judy are cherished members of the TBI congregation. And after graduating from Pitzer, Char received a master's degree and a PhD from Johns Hopkins University. Char is interested in the major forces affecting our planet: drought, fire, rising sea levels, floods. In his writing, he not only provides the historical background of environmental issues, but portrays in powerful, exquisite detail how these environmental crises and disasters impact communities, families, and individuals. He has published 18 books, 24 anthologies, and several works in progress. Most recently, he published the book Natural Consequences, Intimate Essays for a Planet in Peril, and also recently, West Side Rising, How San Antonio's 1921 flood devastated a city and sparked a Latino environmental justice movement. This book has received numerous awards from both historical associations and environmental societies. And be on the lookout for his forthcoming book, Burn Scars, a documentary history of fire suppression from colonial origins to the resurgence of cultural burning, due out in October. He is often quoted in newspapers, on NPR, and podcasts, and he teaches some of the most popular courses at the Claremont colleges. He has inspired many students to go to work for environmental justice, making the world more sustainable, and to build resilience in vulnerable communities. What a thrill to have him here tonight. Char Miller.
There is no way this talk is going to be as good as that introduction. I'm telling you right now, I should shut up and walk out. It would be great. Thank you. It's a thrill to be here. I'm grateful to Team Tzedek for the invitation to be here. I want to thank the rabbi and cantor, fools that they are, to let me stand at the bima in front of a microphone and in front of a camera. It's my perfect place, my happy spot. And I also want to thank the biblical writers of Leviticus, not all of it, but this parsha, Bahar, because they argue, as we will see and as Gabe will tell us about tomorrow, they argue that the earth and all things that reside here, not just humans, deserve a sabbatical. And as someone who is about to end a year-long sabbatical, I can tell you it's divine. So what Lillian Brown said last week, and what I suspect Gabe knows also, Leviticus gets deep in the weeds. It is filled with prescriptions, prohibitions, admonitions, every issue that you can imagine. And it's hard for the modern ear and eye to literally work through the thicket of text as it moves through its various elements and controls and desires. That's a trick, and it's a hard thing to get through, and I'm so glad, Gabe, that you get to do it and I don't have to. But I will tell you that as Lillian said last week, and we heard from the rabbi as well, that it's worth looking at this stuff, not necessarily because it pertains to us exactly in the worlds that we inhabit, because within that there are ethics, there are ethoses that sort of shape the way that we can imagine the world in ways that actually are connected to those biblical writers 3,000 plus years ago. And in particular, with Bahar, there are two central issues that are moving through it, one of which is about the human relationship to the landscape, and the other is the human relationship to other people. And it's a story of, as the rabbi said, a resetting. Every 7 years, and then 7 times 7, and every 49 years we have a Jubilee year, and you can't grow anything, and I don't know what they did and how they survived, but the text also tells us that the divine would send enough food, make enough food for 3 years. Okay. Maybe not in Southern California, but you know, elsewhere. So all of that, it seems to me, is at the point of which we can begin to see an ethic. And the ethic is this. No people are free if they enslave others. and no people are free if they enslave the earth. That the two things come coupled. Nina talked about environmental justice, and one of the fascinating things about that discourse is that one of the things one works on is a recognition that our place in some place is deeply intertwined with that landscape itself, and those who are within that world, human world, the most vulnerable. And I think Bahar speaks to that as well, and the reasons why one every 7 years releases one's from obligations, debt obligations, from slavery and the like, is precisely to ensure that those who are the most marginalized and most threatened and most vulnerable can be released from their vulnerability. It's an actually brilliant set of arguments. But we don't live in a pastoral society unless you herd goats. We don't live in an agrarian society, certainly not in Claremont or anywhere in Southern California by and large. And while there aren't patriarchs roaming around, patriarchy is with us still, so we've got some work to do. But in truth, we live in an urban and industrial society, and maybe even post-industrial and a service-oriented economy. And so reading Bahar also is complicated because it's not talking to us about the worlds that we inhabit. But one of the best discussions about Bahar, about Leviticus chapter 25, actually comes from a political economist from the late 19th century, Henry George, who took Leviticus and used it as a way to critique industrial capitalism that was emerging in England, Scotland, and the United States at the exact same time, and argued that Leviticus is the key to understanding why one must release people from poverty, why one must protect those who were becoming wage slaves in an economy that was grinding them up. Because to monopolize land meant that there would be some who were rich and powerful, and the vast majority of the population would be poor and abject. And he used Leviticus 25 as a way to critique that very different kind of environment than which Leviticus was written about. But his is a one world that is not ours in many respects. And so some of what I want to end with and talk a bit about, and we'll have chance after services to explore some of these issues more carefully, is what does this mean for us now in the early 21st century? And how can we begin to live within the land and those systems in ways that are lighter and more generous with other people and with the landscape itself? And I want to draw upon an indigenous scholar, Charles Sepulveda, who is a member of the Tongvan people of Southern California and the Hachiman people of Orange County. And he's written an essay that my students read every year, in part because of what he articulates as how we can live in this landscape, we who are non-indigenous and those who are indigenous, in a way that we're not used to doing. And he uses a Tongvan term, kuyam, K-U-U-Y-A-M, which roughly translates into guest. To be a guest in a landscape is to know that it isn't yours, that you don't control it, you don't own it, despite what the County of Los Angeles might say. If you own property, Kuyam tells you you don't, as does Leviticus. Leviticus 25 says, "You are but strangers resident with me." So if you're a resident, but a stranger, you're only here for a period of time and then you're gone. So treat the land as if you are a guest, as a steward who knows that your stewardship is finite and that it is not something you own, but that you cradle, in a sense, that you nurture. And that, it seems to me, is a lot of what Team Tzedek has been doing, is thinking about climate justice as a way by which to express this now. And there's a sheet that you probably put to the side. I would urge you to read it, because there are lots of ways that we can intervene. And here's one that is political. There is a vote coming up in November on the ballot to protect a law that is already there, but which oil and gas development companies don't particularly like. They're the villains in this story. They're the monopolists that Henry George frowned upon, to say the least, because they're going to write their text as more complicated as you can imagine, and you won't know what to do. So just say no. That's the easy way to do it. And if you want me to help you, I will gladly do so. But that's only one way by which we can intervene. Lauren last week set up this brilliant, wonderful water-wise community thing that raised a question about other issues that we need to face, about water and drought in a landscape that is absolutely bereft when we have droughts and then overwhelmingly wet when we don't. But part of what we do as guests is to moderate our use of those resources, whether they're in plenty or not, finding that sweet spot in between that allows us not only to further our own interest at some level, but make sure that succeeding generations also benefit from that conservation of our work. And I would argue that one of the ways to think about it for those of us who live in a suburban landscape with yards is to remember two central facts about water use in California and, in fact, every Western state. 80% of all water use goes to ag. We grow extraordinary amounts of almonds that are exported, so that water literally is leaving us. It's a gallon a nut. If we figured out different ways to grow with different amounts of water, there would be no water problem in California or Nevada or Arizona, because those figures are the same. Come to urban areas like Los Angeles, 60% of that 20% that's left over that urban areas utilize, 60% is used outside for lawns, pools, vegetation, whatever. That's where we get to cut. Ag is a whole other complicated issue, but where we have control is at the spigot, is at the faucet, and at the shower. And part of what I think Bahar is about, or at least the way we can use it to speak to ourselves, is, do we need 5-minute showers, really? Do we need to flush as much water as we do to have green, 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 green grass in a place which, if you go up into the wilderness park, you know is not green and shouldn't be green? So some of this is about moderating our own behavior, that we treat the land with the joy and pleasure that we have of it in a way that will allow it to survive in a landscape. We have agency, in short, and we have choices. And when you have choice and you have the capacity to act on those choices when you're not enslaved, then you also are responsible. Gary last night said something along the lines of, all Jews are responsible for all Jews. But in that responsibility means that we also have to care for the places that we as Jews live, as all other people do. And that's one of the key ways, it seems to me, that we might begin to think about where we can go with this story, and because of what it means to us, and how Bahar, I think, helps us understand that. Because if we have choice, and if we have the capacity to act in the world, then we have hope. Barbara Kingsolver describes hope not as optimism, that is, the world is going to get better, because it will. Hope is the armor that we put on every single day to go out into the world to make it the place we want to be. It's armor that we put on to make it possible for us to fight for the things that we think are really crucial. Justice for the earth and justice for people. And it seems to me acting on that hope is also one of the ways by which we fulfill Bahar's prophetic vision and its imperative claim on us. Quote, "You must provide for the redemption of the land." You, us, must provide for the redemption of the land if we are going to live in this land as well as we can. Thanks very much. Toda Rabbah. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you so much.
Mr. Resnick.
Come on up.
So I just have a few minutes for you on something that the professor mentioned, which is the political action aspect of the referendum that we're going to have here in California on the November ballot, challenging the 2022 California law, SB 1137, which prohibits new oil and gas wells near homes, schools, and hospitals, to name a few. This referendum, like I said, will be on the presidential ballot, so don't skip it, please. And basically what SB 1137 did was enact stringent regulations on oil and gas operations, focusing on the most vulnerable populations that typically experience these adverse effects. As we approach the referendum to decide whether this law will remain in effect, it's really important that we understand why voting for 1137 isn't just a choice, but a necessity. First and foremost, the law establishes health protection zones, which are critical to safeguarding our communities. These zones prohibit new oil and gas operations within 3,200 feet of sensitive receptors, such as homes, schools, and healthcare facilities. This buffer zone is based on scientific research that shows significant health risks if you live within 3,200 feet of such oil and gas extraction sites. These risks include respiratory problems, increased cancer rates, and adverse birth outcomes. By maintaining the law, we're prioritizing the health and well-being of our families, children, and the elderly. Moreover, this law is a step toward environmental justice. Historically, low-income communities and communities of color have disproportionately borne the brunt of pollution and environmental hazards. This law addresses this inequity by implementing stringent measures that protect these frontline communities from further harm. Voting to keep this law is a vote for fairness, ensuring that all Californians, regardless of their socioeconomic status, have the right to a healthy living environment. Another crucial aspect of 1137 is its emphasis on transparency and accountability. The law mandates that oil and gas operators submit detailed inventories and maps of sensitive receptors, and these must be updated annually. The information is made publicly available, allowing communities to be informed about the activities taking place near them. Additionally, the law requires operators to develop comprehensive leak detection and response plans. These plans, which include continuous emissions monitoring and rapid response protocols, are essential for preventing and mitigating environmental and health hazards. This law also enforces strict compliance with health, safety, and environmental standards. From noise and light pollution to dust control and chemical analysis of produced water, these regulations ensure that oil and gas operators do not compromise the quality of life in surrounding areas. And the law requires regular water sampling before and after drilling activities. Furthermore, this law supports the transition to a more sustainable future. By regulating fossil fuel extraction and promoting stringent environmental standards, we're encouraging the development of cleaner energy alternatives that may not require a buffer zone. This shift is essential in combating climate change and reducing our reliance on fossil fuels. In closing, the upcoming referendum on we just had the March election, on November 5th, is more than just a vote on a single law. It's a decision about whether to uphold an important and just law that was passed by our duly elected representatives in Sacramento a couple of years ago. Voting to keep this law is a vote for health, justice, transparency, and sustainability. It's a vote to protect our communities from the harmful effects of oil and gas operations. It is a vote to ensure that everyone, regardless of where they live in California, has the right to a safe and healthy environment. I urge everyone to promote our values and our commitment to a better future by voting this November to, as it should say on the ballot, keep the law, to keep SB 1137 in effect. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. Thank you, Eitan. You can go. You can go. I said thank you, Eitan. Yeah, we'll do it after Kavor, sir. Yeah, it's fine.
Shabbat Shalom again. On behalf of the board, thank you all for being here tonight. And for those online, our friends and other congregants, we're so happy you're here. Rabbi Kupitz and Cantor Bush, much appreciation for leading and inspiring us tonight. Dr. Randy Polovoy, it's always a pleasure to hear your piano accompaniment and that beautiful piece this evening. And thank you to Sean Peterson back there, who makes sure that our online congregants and friends stay connected throughout the service. To Gabe Stobel, you said the prayers beautifully, and we look forward to being with you tomorrow. Many thanks to Professor Miller, Char, for that incredible and unexpected drosh, and the informative talk, and most importantly, your call to action. And to Team Tzedek for arranging this special Tzedek Shabbat. Thank you to the Stobel family and Team Tzedek for the lovely oneg that awaits us, and to our Kiddush Challah helpers, whom you'll see. An appreciation to our greeters, who you were welcomed by when you came in. You make us feel so welcome. Kylie Sykes, Eitan Resnick, Phyllis Blackie, Heidi Howard, and Sharon Regalado. Join us in the Rabbi Kaplan Social Hall after the service for Kiddush, motzi, refreshments, and very importantly, schmoozing. There is so much going on at TBI. Please join in. Check your monthly kahila, your weekly tikiyah, and or the website to find out more. And as one of the gifts, when you make announcements, you get to highlight a few things. So that's what I'm going to do right now, and thank you for your attention. First, Team Tzedek's Food All Year Drive, which was begun this year and is wonderful. June is cereal month. So starting next week, stock up and bring your boxes of cereal to the collection box in the lobby, which will go to our inland partners. Sunday, June 2nd, is the final Brotherhood breakfast till September. Come for the bagels and lox, stay for an update on the Or Hadash capital campaign, and, very interesting, a presentation about the Jet Propulsion Laboratory's Mars rover project by the project manager himself, R. Thomason. And finally, and very importantly, the Festival of Shavuot is coming. And here at Temple Beth Israel, there are a myriad of ways to celebrate. First, join us here on Tuesday night, June 11th, at 7 p.m. for an Erv Shabbat program. Then, for those truly dedicated and adventurous Jewish souls, join us for a sunrise to sunset Shavuot study group with our own Dr. Tammy Schneider. Oh, I'm sorry. Sunset to sunrise. Well, you know, sunset, sunrise. Okay. Limited attendance at a private home. I told you I was directionally impaired. Call the TBI office if you want to attend. Come for that service and fun, and stay for the cheesecake and the blintzes. Finally, Wednesday a.m., June 12th at 10 a.m. right here is the Shavuot morning service with Yisker with our wonderful clergy. Shabbat Shalom.
So because Shavuot is coming, the other thing that we know is that we are coming up to, we are counting the Omer, and we are, well, after we count, I'll say something about where we'll be in just a moment. Yeah. Yes, so we are on page 278, I believe, but I seem not to be able to actually turn to that page. I'm not sure why. There we go. Page 278. I am ready to fulfill the mitzvah of counting the Omer.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu al svirat haomer.
We praise you, Adonai, sovereign of all, who hallows us with mitzvot, commanding us to count the Omer.
Hayom Shnayim u'shloshim yom shehem arba'a shavuot ve'arba'a yamim la'omer.
Today is the 32nd day, which is 4 weeks and 4 days of the Omer. As a piece of information, tonight begins, as I said, 32, which means that tomorrow night begins 33. And in Hebrew, that is Lamed Gimel or Lag. Some of you have heard of Lag BaOmer. It's so it is a break. Many people don't do lots of activities during the Omer. There aren't weddings, there aren't things like that, but Lag BaOmer is an exception day, so people don't cut their hair. So lots of people in the traditional communities tomorrow will be starting Sunday, really, tomorrow night, and then on Sunday we'll be cutting hair and having weddings and doing things like that. Sarah's pointing to Alex and thinking he should cut his hair. I don't know. So just so that you know, when you hear about Lag BaOmer, that starts tomorrow night.
Big day for archery too, if you like archery. And bonfires.
Yeah, Israel, they have bonfires and they cook potatoes, and stuff like that. All right, we're gonna move to the end of our service now. All right, page 282, middle of the page. Aleinu l'shabeach, I invite you to rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latei gedula leotzer breshit, שלא עשינו כגויי הרצון, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המונם. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Page 287.
ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד.
Page 294. We take a moment to remember those who have been important in our lives and have left this earth, those who have died in recent days or at this time in years past. Today we remember the anniversaries of the deaths, the yortzites of Fanny Becker, Marion Brown, Dwayne Clodfelter, Sheldon Dolberg, Ernst Eisler, Jeannie Fisher, Sheldon Fosco, Charles Frankelson, Alicia Goldfarb, Samuel Goldfarb, Anne Green, Marjorie Harmon, Margie Horowitz, Lillian Kane, Edwin Kirstein, Stanley Cohn, Norman Lefkowitz, Anne Littman, Valentine Mashadi, Margaret Molnar, Iris Revo, Leo Sachs, Charlene Schifris, Michael Eli Singer, Glenn David Smillickstein, Jerry Title, and Evelyn Weiner. If you're remembering somebody on this Shabbat, would like to add a name to those that I've mentioned or restate a name I've mentioned, please feel free to do so as I come by your row.
Aaron Roth.
And on this Friday that leads into our Memorial Day weekend, of course, I'd like to add to all of those names, all who have died in service to our country, as we take time this Monday to remember them and their service. I invite those of you who are in a time of mourning or observing a yortzeit to rise first. Invite the rest of the congregation, if it's your custom, to rise and embrace in support of those who mourn. Kaddish again is on 294. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shemei rabbah, v'yalmad divrach irutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayachon v'yomechon, uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, b'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam v'omei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal, shmei d'kudasha brichu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, dami ram bi'alma v'imru amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shmaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru amen. Oseh shalom v'imromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru amen. Page 321, final stanza. We'll conclude with Biyado.
Biyado av kidruchi, v'hei shan ve'a'ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li v'lo ira, ve'imruchi geviati, Adonai li v'lo ira. My soul I give to you.
My spirit in your care.
My spirit in your care.
Draw me near, I shall not fear.
Draw me near, I shall not
Hold me in your
fear.
hand.
Hold me in your hand.
Draw me near, I shall not fear.
Draw me near, I shall not fear.
Safely in your hand.
Safely in your hand.
My soul I give to you. My soul I give to you. My spirit in your care. My spirit in your care. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Hold me in your hand. Draw me near. Draw me near, I shall not fear. Safely in your hand. Beyado af kidruchi. Beyado af kidruchi. Ve'ishan ve'a'ira. Ve'ishan ve'a'ira. Ve'imruchi geviati. Ve'imruchi geviati. Adonai li v'lo ira. Adonai li v'lo ira. Ve'imruchi geviati. Adonai li v'lo ira. For those who joined us online, thank you so much for being with us. For all of you in the sanctuary, please join us in the social hall for Kiddush, Motzi, refreshments. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Somebody knocked it off, but I picked it up.
Yeah, thank you. Careful on the stairs. I've seen many people tumble down